police are on the search, what a local university is doing to fight homelessness, and making sure you have fun this fall safely. Plus local sports, weather, and more. APSU-TV News starts right now. Thank you for tuning into APSU-TV News.
It's Friday, September 27th, 2019.
I'm Angela Peterson.
And I'm Hunter Sanders.
16-year-old Clarksville native Christian Espinoza left home last week on the 18th at 7 that evening and wasn't seen since. He was reported missing, however, he has returned home after nearly a week and is safe, according to Clarksville police. It is being reported that he ran away. Police have no further comment at this time.
Clarksville police are searching for the people who stole 2 vehicles this past Sunday at a business on Craft Street. The suspects were seen driving a GMC rollback. One of the vehicles were stolen around 7 in the morning, that being a blue 1941 Chevrolet Deluxe Master 2-door car with white trim. The other vehicle was inside of a storage container when it was stolen that night. A maroon 1964 Pontiac Star Chief was inside a 20-foot yellow container with MSU painted on it. If you've seen anything that matches these descriptions, contact police immediately.
Speaking of car burglaries, Clarksville police are working to solve a string of car burglaries in the Bellshire subdivision of Highway 76. At least 4 victims have reported they were targeted. Officers say a home surveillance camera showed a person in a hoodie using a brick to smash the window of one of the victims' cars over the weekend. Investigators gathered several surveillance videos from homes in the area. They found the suspected thief scoped out the neighborhood in the daytime and then returned at night. If you have any information, give police a call or submit an anonymous tip at p3tips.com/591.
The whistleblower was heard loud and clear. President Trump is calling the matter a witch hunt. Critics say nothing less than the integrity of the office is at stake. John Larose reports.
President Trump pulling no punches, comparing the person who informed the whistleblower to a traitor, according to audio reported by the LA Times.
You know what we used to do in the old days when we were smart, right? The spies and treason. We used to handle it a little differently than we do now.
House Democrats have issued a warning to the president, demanding he stop his reprehensible witness intimidation of the whistleblower.
I think it's pretty clear what the president is trying to do. He's trying to deter people from following the courageous example of this whistleblower.
The complaint document from the whistleblower has triggered President Trump's Ukraine scandal and spurred an impeachment inquiry.
There's a lot of people out there that are taking their agenda and running wild with it.
The whistleblower complaint lays out essentially that the president sought to use our taxpayer dollars to benefit himself in a presidential election.
President Trump taking to Twitter Thursday, venting in a now deleted tweet that the Democrats are trying to destroy the Republican Party and all that it stands for. But Mr. Trump's critics aren't pulling any punches either.
This occupant of the Oval Office poses a clear and present danger to our future, to our democracy.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Meanwhile, it was revealed Thursday that the Justice Department national security lawyers were first made aware about the whistleblower's complaint more than a week before the office referral.
On Thursday, the public got its first look at a whistleblower complaint detailing very serious allegations against President Trump and the White House. The complaint centers on Trump's July 25th phone call with Ukraine's president. In that call, Trump asked the leader to dig up dirt on his potential 2020 opponent, Joe Biden, and Biden's son, Hunter. The complaint not only sheds more light on the details of the call, but also efforts by White House officials to lock down all records of the call. CNN's Jessica Schneider reports.
Tonight, allegations of a White House cover-up as details of a whistleblower's complaint are revealed.
Thank you very much. It's a good honor.
Among the key allegations, not only did President Trump seek Ukraine's help and interference in his 2020 re-election campaign, but the White House subsequently took steps to keep it quiet. This 7-page, now declassified complaint says after the president's July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky, in which Trump pressed the Ukrainian leader to investigate Biden and his son, the whistleblower learned from multiple U.S. officials that senior White House officials had intervened to lock down all records of the phone call. White House officials told me they were directed by White House lawyers to remove the electronic transcript from the computer system in which such transcripts are typically stored for coordination, finalization, and distribution to cabinet-level officials. Instead, the transcript was loaded into a separate electronic system that is otherwise used to store and handle classified information of an especially sensitive nature. The whistleblower saying that move underscored to me that White House officials understood the gravity of what had transpired on the call because of their belief that they had witnessed the president abuse his office for personal gain. And the whistleblower, also disclosing officials, said this was not the first time that a presidential transcript was placed into a separate electronic system.
I think the whistleblower did the right thing. I think he followed the law every step of the way.
Tonight, the acting director of National Intelligence under fire for not sharing the August 12th complaint with Congress within 7 days, a move Democrats say was mandated by law. McGuire, who called the situation unprecedented, consulted with the White House counsel and the Justice Department first, concerned Mr. Trump's call with the Ukrainian president was covered by executive privilege.
Why you chose to go to a department led by a man, Bill Barr, who himself is implicated in the complaint and believes that he exists to serve the interests of the president, not the office itself, mind you.
We consulted with the White House counsel's office, and we're advised that much of the information in the complaint was, in fact, subject to executive privilege, a privilege that I do not have the authority to waive.
Republicans lashed out at Democrats who questioned McGuire's integrity.
They've accused you of breaking the law.
I am not political. I am not partisan.
Republicans are also trying to question the credibility of the whistleblower.
On page 1, the complaint reads, quote, "I was not a direct witness to most of the events described." This seems like a very important line to look into.
McGuire explained he does not know the identity of the whistleblower, and no one within the White House or the Justice Department have asked him to disclose the identity.
Did the President of the United States ask you to find out the identity of the whistleblower?
I can tell you emphatically, no.
But one Republican did call out the president for his phone call with Ukraine's president.
I want to say to the president, this is not okay. It is, that conversation is not okay. And I think it's disappointing to the American public when they read the transcript.
The search has been suspended for a Kentucky woman who disappeared in the U.S. Virgin Islands as Tropical Storm Karen approaches. Officials say 48-year-old Lucy Schumann was reported missing Thursday by an Airbnb owner in St. John where she was staying. Items that belonged to her were found in her room, but she never checked out of the Airbnb as planned. Her rental vehicle and day pack were also found, but there's no more information about where she could be. Locals who helped in the search say this case is weighing on them.
The Tennessee Highway Patrol is trying to find out why a man was passed out on a road in Greenbrier. Troopers say a driver noticed what appeared to be a body lying on the ground on Highway 41 South last Sunday. The driver got within 10 feet of the body, shining their headlights, then confirmed it was a man who appeared to be unresponsive. Investigators say the driver called 911. State Trooper John Mark Tarr was on patrol nearby. The THP says as the trooper approached the scene, the driver of the car flashed the lights at Tarr to get his attention. Tarr approached the vehicle, flashed its headlights, then inadvertently ran over the man's body. Tarr immediately stopped his vehicle and after realizing he ran over the man, quickly called and requested an ambulance. James Yates of Springfield was pronounced dead at the scene.
A Kentucky community is in mourning after the tragic death of a 10-year-old girl. She died after choking on a carrot at school. Nicole Burling has a story.
Marilyn was going through some sort of distress. She was coughing.
The family of 10-year-old Marilyn Ophobi Korenkaiwa is still trying to accept that she's gone.
They received a call from the school.
It happened about 10 days ago at Belmont Community School in Worcester, where Marilyn was a 5th grader. She was eating a carrot and started choking.
She ran to the bathroom. Fortunately, she went in there with a friend. So the friend had to rush back to them when Marilyn was complaining that she was choking on something.
Things moved quickly after that. The family says school staff tried giving Marilyn aid and called 911. Marilyn was rushed to the hospital, already unconscious. Her uncle says she never woke up.
Unfortunately, last Tuesday, she has to pass.
The family says the entire community has been supportive, including the school, even the mayor, but they're still unsure how this could have happened.
Going to the bathroom, nobody was there. We don't know what happened. I'm not saying this to blame, but if the school has a system in place, that would be good, a procedure.
They want to make sure this never happens to another family.
She was loved by many, not only in the church, but also in the community.
An autopsy will be conducted on Marilyn, and the family hopes this will bring them some answers. Her funeral service will be held Thursday.
Henrietta Lacks' immortality lives on at 7 p.m. Monday, October 1st at the annual Peay Read event to be held at the Dunn Center. According to the Austin Peay website, Henrietta Lacks had her genetic material stolen without her consent in 1951 to be used for scientific research. Decades later, her family found out about the truth about her legacy. All incoming freshmen for 2019 were asked to read the book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, in their APSU 1000 classes as a unifying school tradition. Henrietta's great-granddaughter, Victoria Baptiste, along with Shirley and Deborah Lacks, will be the keynote speakers at this year's event.
Middle Tennessee State University's program to help the homeless student community in Murfreesboro is being hailed as a model for other universities to use. According to the Associated Press, although a new Tennessee state law requires higher education institutions to assist homeless students, MTSU has been helping students with their program since 2008. The MT One Stop program helps identify students that have basic needs such as housing, health, transportation, and food. Each class includes a basic needs identifier questionnaire in the course syllabus.
A high school student in Tennessee is in stable condition after school nurses saved his life with Narcan. That's the drug used to reverse the effects of opioids. The student was reportedly vaping marijuana when he fell ill. CNN's Robert Grant has the story.
I think it's pretty dangerous.
Another vaping-related emergency, this time in Madisonville.
I think it's awful. It's terrible. I feel really bad for him.
Sources say the Sequoia High student was using an e-cigarette with marijuana. It's called a dab pen. They say Narcan saved the boy's life. Now parents wonder what chemicals their kids could be smoking.
It's very scary to put things in our body that we're not sure is synthetic and different things that we're not even sure that's real, and where it comes from and what it's made of.
The Sequoia High School student was life-flighted to the hospital. His aunt says he's now in stable condition.
I wish him well, and I hope that, he has a good recovery.
While more serious, this isn't the only case. Schools across East Tennessee report hundreds of students caught vaping or with supplies.
Everybody brings jewels with them everywhere, and it's just, we know the long-term effects of smoking cigarettes now, but what about the long-term effects of this?
School officials say they're taking action, educating students on the possible dangers.
The uncertainty with what might be in the pods and various things, that would be very concerning.
If you don't really know where it's coming from, then it could literally have anything in it, and you're putting that into your lungs.
Police are investigating the incident.
A Tennessee woman thought she had rescued a sweet little kitten from the side of the road, but it turned out that the kitten was a wildcat, a dangerous one at that. CNN's Robin Easterbrook reports on what the woman decided to do.
While driving down Graysville Road, Jill Hicks recently saw a kitten darting across it.
So I pulled over on the side of the road, got out, got it. It never offered. It did run a little bit, but not fast and not far. And it crouched down. I picked it up, put it in the car with me. It climbed all over me.
Later, after consulting with neighbors, she realized what she rescued was actually a bobcat.
I was going to go home from dinner, give her a bath, put her in the bed with me. And when we decided she was a bobcat, I was like, yeah, probably better not do all of that.
Hicks took her to For Fox's Sake Wildlife Rescue. She was named Arwen. Rehabilitator Juniper Russo says there are ways to tell the difference between kittens and young bobcats.
Bobcat kittens also always have spots in some form or another, whereas actual spotted markings are fairly rare in domestic cats. And a bobcat kitten will sometimes, but not always, have black tufts on the ears, which are also possible in domestic cats, but pretty rare.
She says bobcats can be dangerous.
As they get older, they will become more and more aggressive, and a male bobcat especially can be about twice the size of a typical domestic cat, and also very unpredictable in its behavior.
Russo hopes to have Arwen until March. She says the bobcat will be released in a protected area close to where she was found. As for Hicks, she says she wouldn't have done anything differently.
Even though I thought she was a kitten, Had I known she was a bobcat and that small and in that high traffic area, I still would have done the same thing.
Liberty Park will soon be covered in purple for the annual Walk to End Alzheimer's. You can register for the October 5th event at 8 in the morning, which will be followed by a ceremony and pre-walk activities. The walk will begin at 9:30 in the morning. Hundreds of people are expected to show up to raise awareness and fight alongside those diagnosed with Alzheimer's. We encourage you to go out and show your support.
A 5-year-old Tennessee boy with autism was punished for hugging. School officials at East Ridge Elementary said he was overstepping boundaries. His family says he didn't know any better. CNN's Abby Kirk reports.
I was sick to my stomach because, first of all, I didn't understand, he's a 5-year-old, he's a child.
Summery Putnam says she received a call from her son's teacher at East Ridge Elementary about 2 weeks ago.
The teacher called me and she said, you need to have a talk with Nathan about boundaries.
Putnam's son, Nathan, is 5 years old. She says he has autism, making it difficult for him to understand social cues.
If you don't understand how autism works, you think he's acting out or being defiant, but that's not the situation.
Putnam says the teacher said Nathan was overstepping boundaries. She says the teacher accused her son of sexual activities after she was told he hugged a child and kissed another child on the cheek.
He shouldn't be treated like this.
Nathan's grandmother, Debbie Amick, took to Facebook asking, quote, what do you do when a 5-year child is being labeled a sex predator and accused of sexual harassment by the school system?
The kid don't even understand what sex is.
Spokesperson Tim Hensley says, according to school policy, school personnel are required to report concerns regarding children to DCS. It's up to DCS to determine if those reports are acted on by DCS and what form those actions may take.
I talked to him, said, you can't hug children. He said, why? I said, because, Nathan, it's not allowed.
The family thinks the school is in the wrong.
To bring something like this against a child, a special needs child that really doesn't understand what he's done wrong.
A field trip for a 10-year-old Kentucky girl who's confined to a wheelchair almost didn't happen, but one special teacher refused to leave her behind. CNN's Marvis Herring reports.
With eye-catching wheels, Ryan Neighbors navigates these halls with ease, and she's laser-focused in the classroom.
And describe your feeling as a person. Got it?
She'll never forget this hands-on field trip to the falls of the Ohio State Park in Clarksville. They went last Friday.
When I got to see the fossils and stuff, I was like, wow, that's like really cool. I haven't got to see that before.
She's been in a wheelchair her whole life.
Ryan's mom, Shelly, tells me Ryan's spina bifida canceled field trip plans in the past. But fourth grade teacher Jim Freeman made this trip different, offering to carry Ryan in this special backpack so she wouldn't miss out.
As soon as we got her strapped in, she's like, this is the part I've been waiting for.
Freeman teaches in the class next door to Ryan's. When the family found out he wanted to help, tears of joy.
He's my Ryan's teacher, and he was so pure-hearted that he wanted to make sure she was included and not left out, and she got to feel like one of her peers.
She posted the act of kindness to Facebook, and since thousands of people sent reactions, comments, and shares of support for both Ryan and Mr. Freeman alike.
Never feel like you're left alone.
This is just one physical act that you can see, but we do this countless times throughout the school day and throughout the year.
Looks like we're going to be seeing a dry week, and Meghann Stamps has weather with us. Meghann?
Thank you, Angela. Heading over into our local weather. First of all, we have our 5-day forecast. So to start off, we have Friday. It's going to be sunny, 78 degrees and a low of 53. Pretty nice temperatures right here. Saturday, we also have mostly sunny, a high of 67 and a low of 55. Sunday, we have a mostly sunny again with a high of 80 and a low of 56. Monday, we've got a couple of morning showers, but not too bad. Still high of 79 and a low of 55, not quite cooling it down that much. And then Tuesday, we also have mostly sunny once again with a high of 59 and a low of 54. Our current temperature, we have 86 degrees and a wind with a southwest direction of 11 miles per hour. So for our current national temperature, starting off in Seattle, we have 55 degrees, Los Angeles 71, Denver moving over a little bit, we have 64 degrees, Dallas down low, we have 83 degrees, Chicago, we've got a nice warm 68 degrees, Atlanta 89, and then up in New York, we have a nice 72 degrees. Starting off with today's highs, we have Memphis at 94, Clarksville at 92, Nashville at 94, Chattanooga 94, and Knoxville at 92. For today's lows, starting again at Memphis, we have 74, Clarksville 69, Nashville 73, Chattanooga 72, and Knoxville at 69 degrees. And then for tonight's temperature, it's going to cool down just a smidge. We have 69 degrees with a wind speed that is south-southwest at 11 miles per hour and a precipitation chance of 10%. So that's all for weather. Heading over next, after this commercial break, will be our political corner.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
I like to eat apples and bananas. I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Clarksville City Council is discussing zoning requests, matching funds approvals, and a bi-weekly pay change for current full-time employees. However, the biggest topic of last night's meeting was a recommendation by attorney Lance Baker that the city peddler permits be altered to allow magazine and newspaper subscription sales be legalized for First Amendment concerns. Additionally, it was recommended that restrictions on churches and educational groups be removed as well for similar concerns. It was noted several Supreme Court decisions have been in favor of approving the aforementioned groups. The council will vote formally at next week's meeting. A special needs athlete scores a big win, and a high-tech robot shows off an impressive gymnastics routine. Coming up in today's Take a Look at This, APSU-TV will be right back.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Conference game did not go as planned as they fell in all three sets to Western Kentucky. Freshman Keegan Sayring led the Governors with 7 kills, and junior Jenna Panning was right behind her with 6 kills. The Govs will begin OVC play this Saturday as they head to Illinois to face SIUE at 6 p.m. It was a close game for the Austin Peay football team this past Saturday in Johnson City. The Govs led at halftime with a score of 14-10. This lead was erased in the 4th quarter thanks to an ETSU comeback. The junior wide receiver, D'Angelo Wilson, posted his third 100-yard receiving game in the 2019 season. ETSU will go on to score a touchdown midway through the fourth quarter. In the final minutes of the game, ETSU kicked a 37-yard field goal to make the score 20-14, which ended up being the final score. Make sure you're wearing black tomorrow for the Govs' home game against Jacksonville State. Kickoff is at 2 p.m. The men's golf team competed in the Derek Doling Invitational this past Monday through Tuesday. Senior Austin Lancaster's 3 under 68 helped propel the Govs to an 8th place finish. Lancaster was one of 11 players in the field to average par or better for the event on par 4 holes. The team heads to North Carolina to compete in the JT Poston Invitational Monday through Tuesday. Our women's golf team's own home tournament starts next week. The girls will be at Clarksville Country Club right here in our town this Monday and Tuesday. They start play with 36 holes Monday from sunup to sundown, so come out to the course and show our girls your support. Last but not least, the women's soccer team played the 2 games Thursday and Saturday. Abby Gemza's and Ashley Whitaker's first goal of the season weren't enough for the Govs as they ended in a 2-2 draw Thursday night. After 2 overtime halves and 110 minutes of play, the Govs ended in a scoreless draw against Cincinnati Saturday night. They look to break the tie streak tonight at 7 p.m., where they face SEMO at home. Come out and support your Lady Govs. That's all for sport. Let's head back to the desk with Angela and Hunter.
APSU's Theater and Dance Department will be presenting the musical Working next week, October 3rd through the 6th. You can buy tickets online. The price for adults is $15. If you're a student, senior, veteran, or faculty member, you can see it for $10. I had a chance to speak with the director of the musical, Noel Rennerfelt, about the musical, so let's see what he had to say.
We realized we had to take all the chairs off, so I took all the chairs off and dropped a whole row of them, and the seat cushion fell out, and a pamphlet from 1988 came out of it, and it was from the theater where those chairs used to reside.
In 1988, the Austin Peay Theater presented the play Arsenic in Old Lace. Normally this would not be significant until maintenance workers this summer found a playbill for the play stuffed inside the theater seats in the APSU-TV studio. As Cameron Peay reports, the discovery of the playbill was an incident that brought back strong memories for one APSU communications professor.
Dr. Tracy Nichols has been teaching at Austin Peay for around 20 years, but her connection to Austin Peay goes back to her years as an undergraduate. And one of her fondest memories of that time was starring in the play Arsenic and Old Lace. So you can imagine her surprise when the playbill from that play surfaced after all these years.
As I know how many people have been in that studio. I have personally been in there for faculty meetings, have sat in those seats over the years since I've been in the communication department, and thinking it's crazy that so many people have been there and it was never found until the renovations.
Dr. Nichols says the play was special in many ways, not the least of which it being the final production by director John Griffin. Dr. Nichols played the lead role, and she says she learned a valuable lesson in not changing hairstyles before a big play.
Bobs were like the new thing back then, and so I was like, hey, I'm gonna get this great bob, and it was like super short. It went from being like down here to being super short and inverted where it couldn't be pulled up. So he made me wear a 10-pound wig.
Dr. Nichols says she still keeps in touch with friends she met during the play's production, but she never thought it would be the crossroads in her life it ended up being.
But all of the paths have led me back here. And not only did they lead me back here, but they led me back to a department where the seats were moved from a different building into the building I'm in now, and that program was found. It's just, I mean, I think it's serendipitous maybe.
Cameron Peay, APSU-TV News.
So the Mud Bowl is this weekend, and Hunter, you were our back-to-back champion. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
That's right. I was on the team that won back-to-back years.
Not to brag.
It will be, not to brag, but it is this Sunday. It'll be 1 p.m. Free food, drinks, super fun time. But I'll tell you what, that mud is nothing to play around with, because that will be in your ears and in your hair for like days to come.
Right. How did you win then?
Well, I'm on my fraternity's team. And we were fortunate to win, but everybody should come out this year. It'll be a super fun time.
Yeah, it's free food. You had me at free food. Well, that's all the time we have for today.
Thank you for tuning in.
And as always, let's go Peay.